Hello, this is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and in today's video you can see that we have quite a different setup. We are here in my kitchen, and we're just set up on my little dining table here. So you may hear some additional sounds that you normally wouldn't. You might be able to hear my fridge running or my dog kind of getting up and moving around. But we are set up in my kitchen today because I need to create a meal calendar for November. So this is something that we like to do in my household. You can see this is our October meal calendar, and we wrote it in purple because our black whiteboard marker had died at the end of September, and I forgot to get a new one when we had to write October, but I do have a new one, so November's meal calendar will be in black. So, a few things to note. You'll see this kind of lettering, FFY, quite a lot throughout the month. And this was left over from our college days. We would write FFY because it stands for Fend for Yourself. And so that's kind of just been left over. So usually we will make a meal and we usually try and make it for maybe 4 to 6 servings so that we can have leftovers maybe for lunch or the dinner the next day, or we can just kind of make whatever we're feeling for dinner. So that's kind of why we have these kind of days spread throughout. And it is just my husband and myself in my household, so it's pretty easy to make meals and make sure that we have leftovers. So I am going to first erase all of this and then start by filling out the days of the month for November. And then my husband and I kind of brainstormed some meals that we would like to have in November. And then I'm going to fill in some of the other days, maybe with some easier meals, or just kind of see where we're at. I also have some of our cookbooks over here. We use our Instant Pot a lot. Most of our meals are either in the Instant Pot or in the air fryer, or pretty easy to do meals on the stove or in the oven. So we have that. We also have some of these recipe cards these ones are from Blue Apron. We have some from, looks like HelloFresh. So we had gotten these years ago. We had gotten a free trial for a few different services, and we really enjoyed these meals that we had done, so we kept the recipe sheets. So I'm going to flip through these if I need some inspiration for some more meals that we could add. So I'm going to grab my paper towel. I need to clean all of this off. I think that we got this whiteboard maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But when we were in college, we just had a much smaller one, and we usually just did week by week. So at the beginning of each week, we would just kind of sit down with our roommate and kind of plan the meals for that week. But once we kind of graduated college and we're becoming more adults, we really liked having something much larger so that we could kind of plan for more. And then this little section over here that says notes at the top, we actually use this as kind of our place to write if we need to pick something up from the store. So let's say we're running out of dish detergent, or we used the last of the rice or garlic powder or whatever while we were cooking. We write it on here, just up at the top. And then that way, the next time that we do grocery shopping, anything kind of extra that we wouldn't normally think to check, we can just check our little list. So that's really convenient for us. Okay. I like to use a paper towel for wiping off the entire month, just because it's a little bit easier having something kind of big like this rather than using the little small erasers that are on the top of our markers. Okay. So I'm going to start by writing November up there. I don't have the nicest handwriting on the best of days. I'm going to do my best. November. And then my husband usually likes to do a little drawing, a little doodle off to the side here for that month. So imagine this month he might do a turkey or something like that. Last month we did a little pumpkin. So I like to leave some space over here for him to do his doodles. Okay, so now I'm going to start by filling in the dates. I like to do the numbers just in the top left corner. So the first is on a Friday. Saturday is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29, and 30. So November just has 30 days, but if it had 31 and it was kind of a weird month where we also have some days up in this week here, I usually would just do a little line down here and then put the last day on this bottom half. But luckily it kind of fills out nicely. obviously, for this month. Okay. So right now we actually already have a few things planned. So in our October calendar, I usually like to finish out a week. So for example, if November ended on a Thursday, for example, I would still write, the first and the second of the next month just to finish out the week on our calendar. So October's calendar, I had already done that for Friday and Saturday, and then we also had to plan a few meals so that we could go grocery shopping before I could write the calendar. So we already have a few meals planned that I'm gonna just kind of fill in here. So for Friday the 1st, which is the day that I'm filming this, I don't think that you'll be seeing it until maybe the 4th, but so tonight we're doing air fryer chicken and veggies. So this is a meal that is kind of exactly what it sounds like. We do some chopped up chicken and broccoli and bell peppers and potatoes, and then we kind of mix them all up in a bowl with some olive oil and some seasonings, and then we throw it in the air fryer. So then I'm gonna do fend for yourself on Saturday because we're gonna have some leftovers, and we might be going out. There's kind of an event on Saturday night. We're not too sure if we're gonna go, but I don't want us to plan making dinner. Okay. So then Sunday, my husband has been really wanting breakfast for dinner, and we got a little mini waffle maker that he's been wanting to try out. So Sunday we're gonna do breakfast for dinner with waffles. But breakfast for dinner, and then just to make him happy, I'm gonna put in parentheses and write waffles. Because sometimes we do breakfast for dinner and we make French toast or omelets. So for that we're gonna do waffles, and I think we're gonna make up some strawberry toppings, and then we'll probably do some like scrambled eggs and fruit on the side too. Okay. And then we don't usually have many leftovers from breakfast for dinner, so I am gonna plan a meal on this Monday, and my husband really likes this meal that we do, and we call it sausage mac. So he asked that we plan that for next week. So that meal is basically just boxed mac and cheese, but my husband is lactose intolerant. So where we can, we usually try to do no dairy and things, or we make substitutes. And we've tried this brand, I think it's called Daya, I think that's how you pronounce it. And they do dairy-free pastas and mac and cheese. So we usually get a couple of boxes of that, and we add frozen broccoli. We usually crisp up the broccoli in the air fryer a little bit first, and then we add andouille sausage that we just kind of slice up. So we really like that. Oh, and we add some onion, and sometimes we've done other veggies in there too, but so we like that one. A theme that you might find as I fill out these meals is that we really prefer kind of convenience for our meals. So if we can do something like that where it's just like a few basic ingredients that we can throw together, that's our vibe for making meals, or with the Instapot. Like, we love being able to just kind of throw everything in the pot and, you know, let it get started and not really have to worry about cooking too much. Okay, and then my husband usually works a little bit late on Wednesdays because he oversees the school's chess club, and so he's one of the faculty advisors for chess club, so he usually stays a little bit late. So Wednesday we like to do just something really kind of easy. So I'm going to do grilled cheese. So with our grilled cheese, he just kind of does toast. He doesn't add cheese to his. But then we have tomato soup and either some salad on the side, or we will, fry up some cauliflower, or we always have like baby carrots or something like that salad mix in the fridge so that we can make sure that we're eating some veggies with our meals. And for lunches, it's always easy just to like grab some easy snacking foods like that. So we've got grilled cheese. And then we actually have a guest coming to stay with us. They will be here on Thursday all the way through. They leave on Sunday before dinner. So Thursday, we kind of asked, this is my father-in-law coming to stay. He lives on the East Coast and we live on the West Coast, so we don't normally get to visit too much. But we kind of were checking in with his current, dietary restrictions and kind of planned a few meals. And then we also know that we want to take him out to dinner. I think we're probably going to do that on Friday. So we have a few meals planned with his, current dietary restrictions in mind. So on Thursday, we are doing a meal from our Instant Pot recipe book here. And it is, we just kind of write rigatoni and sausage. But I think in the Instapot it's called like rigatoni with sausage and peas. So I'm gonna open this up and you'll see that we have some tabs here for kind of our like regularly made meals from this cookbook. So our rigatoni sausage is right here. So it's the easy rigatoni with sausage and peas. So I like to find it and then write the page number. So this is page number 98. And that's primarily, it's pretty easy for us to find it with the tab here. But we have quite a few cookbooks and it's really easy just to write the page number. That way if we're not entirely sure what cookbook it is, we could just flip right to the page, see, oh no, that's, not the right recipe we're looking for, and then, go to the next book. Okay, so then Friday we're gonna leave open, so we're gonna do Fend for Yourself Friday, so I'm pretty sure that we are going out to eat on Friday. So Saturday we planned to do some barbecue chicken in the air fryer, and then we'll either do some like grilled asparagus or grilled Brussels sprouts or something with that. I'm not too sure yet, but that's kind of the main bit of the meal. And then I think that we'll do Fend for Yourself on Sunday because I think that we'll have some leftovers. Usually our leftovers kind of last us like 3 or 4 days, depending on the meal. So I think between the rigatoni and the sausage and our barbecue chicken, I think we'll have some leftovers on Sunday. So now this week here, I am thinking I would really like to do some bacon and lentil soup because we have some extra lentils and we had done a recipe for this last year and I really liked it. So I think that I want to add that. But what I'm also going to do is try and add a few other recipes that might use similar ingredients. So it's something that we try to do that can save a little bit of money. Like for example, we don't always use all of the bacon for that soup recipe. So I think that I want to plan on maybe kind of an easy meal like BLTs. And then we also have some, usually with that, when we do BLTs, we usually cook up any of the extra bacon and do baked potatoes. And that way we can crumble the bacon on top of the potatoes. So I think those are some of the meals I want to do for this week. So let's do the bacon and lentil soup on the Monday here. And then let's do Fend for Yourself on Tuesday. And then we'll do BLTs on Wednesday because it's a pretty easy meal for us. We usually get bacon, obviously, and lettuce. We sometimes just get lettuce from a salad mix, so then we can have salad off to the side with our other meals, and then we just kind of pick out the lettuce that we want, or sometimes we'll get a full head of like the living lettuce. And then we also usually add avocado. So then Thursday here, I'm going to do baked potatoes. Sometimes I always question, like, does potatoes have any? Pretty sure it does. Okay, so then here, I think I'm going to do, let me look through here. I'm kind of feeling another soup. I think that we have a soup that we've done a few times that we really like. Yes. Italian noodle soup. We really like this one. And it's honestly pretty easy. So I think I'm going to do the Italian noodle soup on Friday. Oops. There we go. So Italian noodle soup. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put HF for HelloFresh so that we know it wasn't in any of our cookbooks. It was one of these cards. So on Saturday, I'm going to do Fend for Yourself because we will for sure have leftovers from that. And then Sunday, I'm thinking that we might do something that my husband was wanting, which was schnitzel and Brussels sprouts. So this one is also pretty easy to do. It doesn't really take too much effort, but it turns out really nice. I also don't know if schnitzel and Brussels sprouts go together cuisine-wise, but we always put them together. I didn't mention we actually have like a pretty long master list of kind of regular meals that we make, or if we try a new recipe and it really turns out good, we add it to that. That way, every month when we sit down to do kind of our brainstorming, it's really easy for us just to pull out that list on our phone and we can just kind of scroll through and be like, yeah, that actually sounds really good, or like, no, we did this last month. So that makes it a little bit easier rather than having to come up with the meals just off the top of your head. It's just another way to kind of keep us organized. So I think I'm going to do Fend for Yourself on Monday. And on Tuesday, I think that we might do one of our regular meals. I think we do this meal kind of every month because it's so easy and we really like it. It's pesto pasta. We do not make our own pesto, sadly. We buy pesto from the grocery store. So I'm so sorry if you are a pesto purist. So we usually do maybe some farfalle pasta and mushrooms and spinach. And we used to do sausage, but recently we've been just not doing the sausage and then adding some carrots and then adding like a jar of store-bought pesto, and it turns out really good. We've been really liking that one. So then we usually have leftovers from pesto pasta. So for Thursday, I kind of want a simpler meal. I also didn't mention we usually do our grocery shopping on Fridays, kind of as a leftover thing. I used to work for 10-hour shifts. So Monday through Thursday I worked 10-hour shifts, and then on Fridays I had off. And that was usually my day where we would plan all of our errands that we needed to run. That way Saturday and Sunday I could just relax. So it's just kind of left over from that job, and we just always stuck with it. So Thursday, I think I'm gonna do, we usually like to keep some like general staple items in our pantry and in our freezer at all times. Usually that includes like some frozen veggies. We always have frozen chicken, and we usually like to keep frozen tilapia as well. So we didn't do tilapia in October, and it's one of those just kind of really easy meals. We just kind of throw it in a baking dish with some oil and seasonings and bake it in the oven for a little bit, and then do some roasted veggies on the side. So we'll do tilapia and veggies there. And then I'm thinking Friday, so we don't normally have leftovers from this one. We usually just make the amount of fish for that night. I don't know why. I think that I'm kind of weird about reheating fish. I don't know. I think it's perfectly safe as long as you reheat it properly. But okay, so then Friday, I saw this meal on Pinterest that I wanted to make, and it was like beef ramen. So I'm just going to put beef ramen, then in parentheses, Pinterest, so that, by this point in the month I actually remember, oh yeah, that was a Pinterest meal, rather than trying to rifle through all of our cookbooks being like, where is this meal? So I'm going to do fend for yourself here. And then maybe let's do, I'm thinking we do a meal in the Instapot. It's kind of like cheater risotto. And then we do shrimp and asparagus in a pot with some like Italian dressing and like kind of margarine instead of butter. And I kind of really want to do that this month, but I'm just realizing we're going to be gone for these days because this is Thanksgiving break. So we will be traveling to see our families. I think we're planning on leaving early Wednesday and then coming back on Sunday of that weekend. So I don't need to make meals, and that risotto, we usually have a decent amount left of it. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this. I'm going to move the schnitzel and Brussels sprouts down here. So that, oops, I don't need to take that off. So I'm going to do the risotto. So the risotto with shrimp and asparagus. And then I'm going to move the schnitzel down here. Just because we also don't normally have, we usually have one day of leftovers with the schnitzel. That one got a little crowded there. I think up here I put it in 3 lines. That's okay. So with this, so my husband's last day of class before Thanksgiving break is actually the 25th. And then that's not the last day of class for the quarter. He has, I think, 1 more week and then finals week after Thanksgiving. But to kind of celebrate the last day of classes before the holiday break, I think that I'd like to do one of our fun kind of celebratory meals, and that is steak and stuffed mushrooms. So usually we're not very picky about our steak either. So we usually just kind of get whatever the cheapest cut is at the store. And then stuffed mushrooms. Growing up, my family had a really good family friend that made these delicious crab stuffed mushrooms, and we kind of stole the recipe. I think he gave it to my mom, but so we love to do these stuffed mushrooms. It is cream cheese and imitation crab. We use imitation crab. You could use like real crab, but I don't think that we really are going to want to spend the money on real crab. And I personally love imitation crab for some reason. So we do that, and then a bunch of seasonings, and then you mix all of that up and then roll them in little balls and put them inside the mushrooms. We usually do, I like to do brown mushrooms. I'm forgetting the names of the mushrooms. It's escaping me right now. But we usually like to do the brown mushrooms, and then you bake them for a little while, and then they turn out just so juicy with that delicious filling. So we usually do steak and stuffed mushrooms when we're celebrating something, or we just want kind of a little special meal. And then this way, I'm going to do Fend for Yourself on the 26th, since we're leaving on the 27th. This way, on the 26th, we can try and eat up any remaining leftovers before we leave for Thanksgiving break. Okay, so I'm just going to look over and make sure that this kind of like makes sense for our schedule this month. I think so. And then I don't remember if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. We frequently move things around. This isn't set in stone. This just kind of helps us stay like coordinated throughout the month and makes grocery shopping really easy. And then that way, like either of us, like we both know exactly what's on the menu for that week. So it's not like on one person to kind of keep track of. And then it's also really easy if one of us is having, a bit of a busier day than expected. The other person doesn't need to check in and be like, hey, what are we doing for dinner tonight? Like it's on the calendar. So it's just really easy and like helps keep our household like running smoothly. And like I said, it is just my husband and I don't know how realistic something like this would be for a family with children, especially multiple children. I imagine that you would have to be a little bit more flexible, but this works for us. And I think that this is looking good. I think looking over it one last time, I think that seems alright. So I'm going to add just a little asterisk to this day because that's when we're expecting my father-in-law. He flies in. I have to go pick him up on Thursday. So I'm going to add a little asterisk just to kind of have that pointed out somehow on the calendar. But I think that is it for me. It's really convenient. These markers have little magnets, so they just kind of stick right to the board when we put it back up on the fridge. Well, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed kind of hanging out with me as I put together our monthly meal calendar. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.